Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of PolitiBabble. Today we're going to be talking about wacky ideologies. As always, you're joined by me, Brisha Shaw.
And me, Sam Rowe.
And me, Archibald Elliott.
Yay.
Let's go. We're back for another week. That was our, obviously, first take at the intro. First take.
Yeah.
Normally we do about 3 or 4, but that was
That
actually
was very
second,
good. Very
yeah.
good. Very good.
Can you tell?
Good job, us.
Way, we did our job.
As we should be doing.
Yeah, so, okay. Let's do it.
Yep,
Let's do it. How's everyone's week been? How are we doing?
I'm alive.
Are we,
Yeah, we're
are we all
alive.
living our best lives?
I'm living.
Okay.
and it's your life, and it's your only life, so that's meant to be your best life. So yes,
What
Sam,
if
we're
reincarnation's real? Then technically this could be our 6th or 7th
hot
life.
take there, hot take.
Hot take.
Don't know what
Wow.
that actually means.
You know me, Archie, I am hot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
let's not objectify people. Thank you.
Archie and I exchanged a glance there, like
Because you know it's true, fellows.
it was. We were overwhelmed by
Yes,
the truth,
yes.
and it just.
We just don't comment on appearance. We're reserved people.
It's the
Something like
personality I look for.
I'll be honest. I regularly say Archie's hot, so it's. I can't really.
You
claim that.
regularly look at Archie's hot, yes.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, let's get stuck into today's episode.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some fun, wacky ideologies. We say wacky, just because they're a bit interesting, a bit off the beaten path.
Bit odd.
Oddities.
Oddities.
So we'll start off with my choice, primitivism. Primitivism is a mode of aesthetic idealization and political ideology that emulates or aspires to recreate a primitive society. So what this means is, if someone's a primitivist and believes in primitivism, they want to create a society based on what would be generally considered, I think they describe it as pre-civilization. So the idea that it doesn't have the industry we have today, doesn't have the economies that we have today. It's entirely based on caveman style.
And doesn't have the snowflakes we have today.
Doesn't have
would
the
that-
liberals.
The liberals.
Get them out.
Would that be like Jesus times?
No,
Yeah.
earlier.
Before Jesus
that,
time.
Way before Jesus. We're talking
Damn.
like spears, discovering fire.
Yeah.
But then when you get to a stage where you just
Evolve.
get to the stage where
this
we're
is-
at now, do they just maintain?
They
This is the
maintain
thing.
it.
If you think
So-
of like progressives are people who look at society and think it needs to move forward.
Yeah.
Conservatives are people who look at society and think it needs to be maintained as it is. A primitivist looks at society and thinks it needs to be pushed back. Evolution, societal evolution, is a mistake. It is an error.
Yeah.
And so go back to monkey.
Checkmate.
Monk.
liberals.
Go back to Monk.
Yes. It is quite an interesting ideology because you think about how far we've come
Yeah.
with kind of the evolution of science, the
Yeah.
industrialization, and where we are now. Instead, it wants to go right back to the beginning, which I actually suppose, if you could reset the Earth to how it was so long ago, with the knowledge we have today, we could have a much better world.
It almost there's almost a sense to it in that it's posing the question: can society actually be sustainable? And if not, should we abandon society as we know it? Which is a fair point
Yeah.
if you look at the state of the world today.
It bad.
It bad.
It do be bad though.
It do be kind of bad though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's quite an interesting ideology,
Yeah.
I must say. It's like really, really far. It's like conservative. It's like progressivism reversed. I can't pronounce that today for some reason. Yeah, but
I shouldn't be making fun of another person's speech impediment.
We're not
oh no,
there.
it's fine. There's some words I'm like, I have no idea.
we should chat about.
Yeah.
We chat about. Mackenzie Brisha apologizes formally for that.
I finally shouted you out on this podcast.
Well, I
He's
did it,
been
but it's
asking.
okay.
for,
I
like,
didn't even know you're referring to the person.
Basically,
fine.
there's this guy.
No,
and
we're not
we
gonna.
were
No,
reading-
don't explain it.
Thank you,
Should we not
Risha.
tell the story?
No.
But he's the type of person to make fun of a star. And then
Yeah,
he
so
stops it,
Sam,
and I
Yes.
make
going
fun
back to
Oh yeah, primitivism. We're not going to talk about that story for your
primitivism.
sake. We just saved you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I was gonna think, okay, how can we contextualize it in the political spectrum? But you can't really, because it actually calls for an end to the idea of political spectrums as we know it today. So yeah, it doesn't really fit on a kind of an axis like that. Yeah. But what do we think if we could?
It's an outlier if
Yeah.
you want to go statistics for it. Yeah.
What do we think, guys? If we could, say it were possible, we could, flick a switch, snap our fingers, and reset society back to a primitive state, pre-societal state. Would we do it?
No.
No.
But
Explain.
if we could go back to medieval times, where with me as the monarch, yes.
Okay.
But no, it's because
Different. Not the question.
it would remove the fundamentals that we've experienced. We've experienced nothing else but society.
Mhm.
And that society, it's very important to have that kind of connection with other human beings. If you reset it to that time, there's no technology. It's harder to do everything. You're more
Yeah.
likely to die. The
No, it's
standard of
dangerous.
living is much worse. It's dangerous.
Mm.
It doesn't seem like a better world.
Okay.
We should be moving forwards, not backwards.
Totally agree. Brescia, what do you think?
Apart from with economics, but
I
you know.
think it would be cool to, go back and just like vibe. But would we we wake up tomorrow and like all the houses are like gone, or would it just
you
be
can't
like
have houses. You can't have that. It's living.
caves?
It's hunter-gatherer societies.
But like, would it be
most
like
events.
we just woke up tomorrow, kind of like Truman Show-esque, where we're like put in like a little hunter-gatherer society type
Yeah,
box?
I think it's a
And then like
magical.
eventually like everyone would like work towards that. I don't know. Could I still wear clothes?
Yes,
Okay, then yeah.
but they have to be like made of
Primitive
furs
clothes.
and stuff.
Well, I could like.
The
I'm sure they-
Flintstones.
I'm
sort
sure
of
they had
like,
cotton.
This is where if
You think they produce cotton on cotton mills?
if we had this plan, this is where we
Primitive societies. Get the machinery going.
Yes. This is where we played Flintstones music. I
Yes.
can't remember. I know the tune, but I can't remember the words.
Just go with the tune, and me and
Yeah.
Sam will clap along.
I can't remember. I can't whistle. It's like
I feel like this is way
oh,
too
crikey.
slow.
Yeah, that's way too slow. I'll see if I can find. Yeah.
Do a Flintstone waltz or something.
Yeah, think of the Flintstones music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our solution for
Oh,
it.
she's like trying to YouTube it right now.
We don't need that in our lives, actually. I'll be honest.
Well, you say that, Sam.
Maybe we do. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows indeed.
knows?
Okay. Yeah, I think all I would say on primitivism, I would agree. Probably, I agree with Brescia in that I think it would, it would be interesting and there would be cool aspects to it. But I think fundamentally I've become, very reliant on society. And I don't know. I call me an optimist, but I think society could be restructured to be more sustainable and functional. So
Okay, Sam.
I know it's a pretty
That's a
cringe,
Marxist
bro.
lie.
Society is a Marxist lie. Yeah. So I wouldn't, but I think it's an interesting one, and I'm yet.
Oh, I got so confused there.
You join us now to receive our regular broadcast here at PolitiBabble, where we'll be discussing ideologies, wacky nonsense, ha ha ha. Okay, Archie, that's enough of that now.
Yeah, that is back to the primitive era.
Yes, okay.
Off we go.
Would we get the little Flintstones car?
No.
No.
On that,
We need to bring out our jingles, actually.
I mean,
yeah.
on that total kind of, subversion of my authority on my final point, brings us to high authority. Archie.
Yes, I'm the high authority here. Thank you very much.
Eco-
Welcome to the new
Dictator
Archie land.
Archibald.
Eco-fascism, Archie. What's that about?
Yes, I know that's our next wacky ideology.
Eco-fascism
Yeah.
by an eco-conservative, ladies and gentlemen. Once in
Yeah.
a lifetime
opportunity
to hear this.
Yes.
We'll
I
lean
mean,
in.
unless you go back and replay it.
No, it gets deleted after you listen to it.
Brescia, who knows about going reback? You shouldn't tell them.
This
The
is
floor
live,
police will be
ladies
honest,
and gentlemen.
lies.
Live right
Thank-
now from the studio.
Yeah, live right now.
I wish.
I'm sitting here right now speaking on constant repeat whenever you press play.
Yes, correct.
That would be scary. Just have Archie constantly speaking.
Archie's not trapped in the studio. He's trapped in the video. He's
Yes,
actually been downloaded
yes.
into your
Shh,
computers.
Sam.
Wouldn't that be scary? That's some Black Mirror
Reference
stuff
to
right
last week. Reference to last week.
Of
So
course.
eco-fascism.
Oh,
there. Thatcherism.
Thatcherism. That would be good. Thatcher was
Not the
first.
first
No,
person to get
no.
Thatcherism and fascism confused. It's all right. Don't worry, Archie. It happens to all of us. They're almost indistinguishable. It's fine.
Eco-Thatcherism is actually good because you
Okay.
see, Thatcher was the first leader to bring up climate change on a global level.
Mm-hmm.
Eco-fascism, on the other hand, is totally different.
Also supported apartheid, but whatever.
It is the theoretical model
like climate
in
change.
which an authoritarian government would require individuals to sacrifice their own interests to the organic whole of nature.
Now, it should be also stated that that's not the sum of eco-fascism, because it is fascism, which is a fairly expansive
Yes.
ideology based, created by Mussolini and based on the Italian term is fascismo, yeah?
Probably.
But this is the definition given by an
PDF.
environmental historian, Michael E. Zimmerman,
Sure.
which is kind of he defines it then as a totalitarian government
Yeah.
that requires individuals to sacrifice their interests for the well-being of the land, the
Yeah.
hive, as Dominic Cummings would say in Pretty Image, understood as the splendid web of life or the organic whole of nature, including people and their states.
Examples of this would include killing people in order to curb overpopulation.
And he says that while no eco-fascist government has existed thus far,
Thus far,
important aspects of it can be found in the German National Socialism, one of whose central slogans was blood and soil. Obviously,
So-
the Nazis, they don't implement it.
and also, I would
They
also
kill
like to say,
millions of people.
just because I want to address this really quickly, the term National Socialism is first and foremost a contradiction.
Yes.
Socialism is inherently unnationalistic, and to combine the two totally derails it. Actually, and if you research it yourself, the incorporation of the word socialism into National Socialism was Hitler's attempt to, in his mind, take back what socialists had stolen with the idea of unity of class. So he loathes socialists, and they're not socialists. So please don't say that. I've forgotten what it is, but there's a book that has a really interesting interview, a British interviewer interviewing Hitler about it.
Big H.
And I'll remember it for next time, hopefully. And then
We should do a
I'll
book
let you-
club.
We should.
If anyone's PolitiBabble
Oh my
book club,
God.
let us know.
That'd be so
It's
fun.
really interesting.
We
But
should,
yes.
we should actually just start doing that. You're having a PolitiBabble book club. Don't stop it.
Have you? So Sam's birthday last week. If you watched,
If you didn't listen
And,
to the last episode.
Which you should.
a gift he received was Churchill by Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
That is actually quite a good book. I
No,
quite like
can
it.
I say, the reviews on the back are so funny because they're like the most backhanded. They're like, Boris Johnson successfully weaves his narrative.
Yes. Have you read it yet?
I haven't finished. I've started it,
It
but I
is
haven't
good.
finished.
The pictures
I
are very
recommend
good.
I'll tell you what, it's got Winston Churchill in a bathing suit. Also, Winston Churchill being waited upon by ethnic minorities that have been forced to serve the
Sorry,
British
Sam,
Empire.
I don't
But
know-
we gloss over
we
that.
don't know anything about that.
There was
Because
a picture of him in a
the
bathing, suit,
which is
superior,
I mean, he's pretty thick.
sexy.
But like,
Yeah,
moving
chunk.
aside from that, he's a
Moving
chunk.
back to eco-fascism.
Oh yeah, eco-fascism.
back
Winston
to-
Churchill, he brings it full circle. Go.
Well, Winston Churchill was against fashion, but eco-fascism. You see,
He's actually very
there
anti-Nazi,
are
so-
aspects of it which I can agree with. Obviously, not the fascism part, but obviously the eco.
Yeah. Can we actually get a total condemnation of
it's-
fascism?
Huh?
Please.
There are always good aspects of everything. Nothing is totally 100%.
Okay, and I'll,
Ciao. Anyways.
okay, I'll ask you again. Can I get a condemnation of fascism?
Well, I condemn fascism, but
Good.
you can't condemn
That was for
all
your
of
sake.
fascism.
Archie, that was
Yeah.
from me to you. That was for your sake.
Thanks. But eco-fascism, the good aspects of it is sacrificing one's needs
Yeah.
above the environment. So you sacrifice yourself for the environment. Not actually killing yourself. You just
Um,
maybe sacrifice you
I
driving
don't
a
know
car.
what kind of cult this
Or
is.
you sacrifice, flying a plane, or it's
Eating
creating that
meat,
formation
yeah.
of a state of a people of a nation, putting the environment first.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's then done through authoritarian means and by maybe
Yeah.
mass murder, which isn't a good aspect.
Yeah,
Propaganda.
I'm going to go out, and I'm pretty sure you might want to do something similar. I will just say, fascism is, I totally condemn it in all its forms. It is totally unacceptable in any form, in any way, in any place. That's all.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There are good parts and bad parts to everything. So.
Thank you, Richard, for agreeing there. So,
Yes.
you see, authoritarianism is also there.
Yeah. It's very
It's
similar.
a form, but I'd say eco-authoritarianism is much better than eco-fascism overall.
I mean, sure. Again, it's so tricky because the debate of the line of authoritarianism is again quite a tricky one. There are some people who argue that to have a state at all is authoritarian.
If you haven't noticed,
Whereas-
this podcast, everything is tricky.
Yeah,
And we
it's,
try to break it down for you. If you get confused, send us a message and we'll be sure to help.
yeah, but
Or Sam might. I'm not. Yeah.
no,
Struggle
Archie's
by
not a
yourself.
people person.
The
No.
conservative way.
I think best way to say it is authoritarian generally just means more government authority.
Big
Yeah,
boy.
exactly. And we have some interesting anarcho-contradictions.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wanna?
To that authoritarianism.
Anarcho-capitalism, which
Oh
is
yes.
Hot take.
hot take. The anarchists also agree with Peter Kropotkin's comment. Basically,
That's loud.
oh sorry. Basically, I'm
Prisha
trying to
has
find
not
it.
done her homework. If you can...
I'm trying to read it. I didn't wear my glasses today again.
And you
Is it
didn't
really
do your
classy?
homework.
Well, do you want to read that and I give like an opening statement?
Yeah, sure.
I
Okay.
think that's an hour's attention for
Yeah.
Prisha here.
I
Yeah.
think
Ooh.
we'll
Only if you're
see Archie after
sat
class.
next to me.
Oh,
If you-
Archie
Sorry.
turned my mic off.
Click the wrong button.
Fascist. Anyway, yeah. So anarcho-capitalism is very broadly a political ideology which calls both for the abolition of the state while in keeping, unlike most anarchists and anarcho-communists, while maintaining the economic system of capitalism. The reason we call this section Anarcho-Contradictions is because it's an entirely contradictory ideology. Capitalism inherently forming hierarchical structures based on economic class and wealth and many other factors really makes it kind of incompatible with
Exactly. Yeah.
so to say you're an anarcho-capitalist is ridiculous.
Well,
Basically what you're saying
everything with
Well-
with anarcho anything is contradiction.
anarcho
Anarchism in itself.
yeah,
is not.
anarcho-communism is slightly different because the anarchists and the communists famously were quite unified in
Spain.
in the Spanish Civil War and just generally, and anarchism is more left-leaning. It is true that authoritarian communism, which kind of the typical that you would see in Soviet-era Europe and things like that, is fully incompatible because I think it was Engels who wrote that to abolish the state immediately after a revolution would rob the proletariat of the only weapon they had to help restructure their society. So there is that debate among, is it counterproductive to destroy the only framework you have for affecting change? Obviously anarchists disagree, but it's more complex. But anarcho-capitalism is it's people who want money to be the determining factor in the world,
Yay.
which I'm sure is...
Anarcho Nationalism is my new favourite thing.
Don't even get me started on anarcho-nationalists.
There's like a little thing about
Anarchists, just to briefly run through that, I feel like
As
I
we did,
overload people.
I do briefly
Yeah.
run through that. Watch last week's episode,
yeah.
breaking it down 4, and we'll move on to anarcho-nationalism.
Yeah.
Shout out there to episode 4.
Yes.
Basically, it's not recognised by anarchists
Of
or
course.
Do you recognise
anarchist
it?
scholars. Well, I mean, it's a very, very big contradiction.
So no.
So
Do you, Archie?
Yes.
It's like saying,
Big man.
it's like, I hate the Queen, but the Queen.
Yeah, it's... yeah,
It's great.
okay, a hot take. Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's hot take, it's just a truth.
Okay, boomer.
I'm not a boomer either.
No, I know,
I was
I know,
born. I'm younger than you, Sam. Younger than
It's
you.
because your soul is so
and
much
then
older.
anarcho-environmentalists, which, I mean,
That's more reasonable. That's less of
yeah,
a contradiction. That's more...
that's kind of
That's
just like,
actually quite quite
But how
similar
would you
to
implement it?
primitivism.
in order
except-
to in order to implement it, you need some sort of government.
Yeah,
I mean-
well, that was Engels' main
Yeah.
issue that he took with it was he believed, which not unreasonably, that the only way to affect the kind of change that the far left was looking for was through a structure that was state-like. I think it's possibly why in the early 20th century and late 19th century, syndicalists, which is another one entirely, which is about replacing the state with smaller syndics
states.
based on union action and things like that, was more popular because it provided a state alternative. But then there's also anarcho-syndicalism, which is a a whole other thing.
There's lots of subgenres to subgenres.
Yeah.
If you want a nice, quite a few days reading, go to the Wikipedia article on anarchism, and there's a whole load of links right there for you.
I love how this podcast is meant to explain it to people, but we're just like, read Wikipedia.
We give the references. Pretty sure we give the references. And if you do want anything explaining, the PolitiBabble team is open all hours, apart from me, who's never open. But you know, go speak to the team. Go speak to the team.
Yes, I'll get the intern on it.
Ah, yes.
Philip, answer our emails, please.
Yeah. If you are interested in anarchism, Breacher actually got me a book for my birthday.
Yes.
It's by Noam Chomsky. Is that how you pronounce it? Apologies if I got that wrong. And it's called On Anarchism, and it's very, very good.
Yes, I also got you a Jeremy Corbyn book. But...
He did. I haven't started reading that yet because it's
right.
too emotional.
Oh dear. Yes.
Anyway, speaking of Jezza.
I think that's saved for the newscast, pretty sure.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Which you should watch right now.
Watch
this episode's finished.
I know it should be all out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, which you're probably watching this on. So thank you so much for watching.
Yes, thank you. We hope you had a good time. We loved it.
And on that disappointment, it's time to end using a grand tour phrase. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.
Good night.
Or whenever you're watching it.
Thank you.